Morning, but first, back to the big one. Cocaine found at the White House and this very muted response from the White House. Politico reporting just this morning that it is, quote, very unlikely that the cocaine culprit will ever be found, which just doesn't make any sense to me. For more on all this, let's welcome back in our guest, commentary editor from the Washington Times, Kelly Sadler, former deputy press secretary at the White House, Hogan Gidley, who would have done a much better job yesterday, by the way. Heavily traveled area purview. Those are the only words that I heard yesterday, Hogan. We're also joined this morning by St. Louis Radio. It is a low bar. St. Louis radio host Christopher Arps back with us as well. Chris, good to see you. All right, Kelly, the Secret Service is running this investigation. They've got all the security videotapes. They've got fingerprints. They've got visitor logs. We're talking about one of the most secure buildings, at least I thought, on the planet. How is it possible that we never find out who brought coke into the White House?
Because the Biden White House doesn't want to let us know who brought coke into the White House. I mean, that it's just that simple. They said that they were going to be the most transparent, White House in history, but they've been nothing but opaque. They don't answer to Hunter Biden's scandals. They don't let us know if Joe Biden was the big guy. They don't let us know who brought cocaine into the White House. They also, said they were going to bring decorum back to the White House. Well, just a few weeks ago, we had a transgender man bare his breasts, in the lawn, in the garden there, and now we have cocaine. I mean, It's a disgrace, but we'll never know. I'm going to put my money on it. If it was a low-level staffer, they would have been identified and fired by now. This is somebody who brought this in that the Biden White House doesn't want to let us know.
We're going to be talking about this throughout the morning, but I will just say that if it was a low-level staffer, and Hogan, you've been there, you worked at the White House, sacrificial lamb would have already happened, like Monday, Tuesday. They would have set up, it was Tony Smith, and boom, he's gone. We turned him over to the whatever. We would know, okay? I'm not saying it is Hunter Biden, but Chris, just take a look at how the rest of the media is talking about this. It's one big joke. It's a big joke.
I would like to know blow by blow who was responsible for this.
Too soon.
There is no too soon. No one was injured, as far as we know, and it's an illicit drug at the White House. Why can't you actually have a bit of fun with it?
I don't want to hear from President Biden or Trump. I would like to hear from one person in particular.
Who?
That Bill that used to sit on Capitol Hill for Schoolhouse Rock. Can you put this in layman's term? What happened? Because I'm a little confused.
He was already rolled up in the cartoon. He was ready to go.
I can't even fathom anything like this having been found before in the West Wing, and I go back to the 70s at the White House.
It's so foolish. So here's why it matters, Chris. Let's play this out. All right, who's the crack cocaine addict at the White House that we know about? It's the first son, Hunter Biden. All right, let's just say, and I'm not saying this belongs to Hunter, but let's speculate. Let's say the coke was Hunter Biden's. If it was, that means that July 26 plea deal is now off the table. Off the table. So this story does actually matter.
Every scandal in Washington, it has to have a name. Rob, I'm beginning to call this one Blowgate, and the media is trying to blow this scandal under the rug. I think it's pretty obvious who this cocaine probably belonged to. But, and I mentioned early in the hour, you look at the other national media, they haven't even mentioned Hunter Biden's name at all until now, the clips that you just shown, and the clips that they're showing, they're making light of it. Hunter Biden got a plea deal a couple of weeks ago that if he stays clean for 2 years, his record will be expunged of the drug charge. I think that drug testing should start immediately.
Well, don't forget, he doesn't plea formally until July the 26th. So he's got a few weeks. He's got a few weeks to go. Hogan, take us through where you are. I call it Geography Gate because to me, over the last 24 hours, the location where it was found keeps changing, which to me is really fishy.
Of course, because they know the location is going to implicate different subsets of people. If this thing was found in the library, there's obviously a chance it belonged closer to the family. If it was found in the West Wing and some of those cubbies, it could have been someone like Hunter Biden. It could have been a different staffer. It could have been someone who brought it in. So many questions here abound, but the kind of fundamental substance, as you just point out, starts and ends with where this cocaine was found within the layout of the White House. And make no mistake, if it was somebody else like Trump in the White House right now, we'd have diagrams every second and we'd have speculative arrows pointing to where it is and
Right.
who came in which door at what times. This is what happens. But of course, when it's Hunter Biden, it's all fun and games. I mean, look, he's just a wayward kid. I mean, the man's 50 and has multiple children from multiple different women and is a complete disaster. And while we do sympathize with his problems with drugs and other things, did he bring drugs into the White House or not? Who did if he didn't? And why aren't we getting to the bottom of this? And a simple line from the White House that says, this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
We can't allow this to happen. We're going to get to the bottom of it. And while the Secret Service is conducting the investigation, we're going to help them every way we can to make sure people aren't exposed to these illegal drugs.
And did you see, just look at Joe Biden yesterday. These are reporters. He's sitting there with the Swedish prime minister who's trying to get at the seat at the NATO table. And reporters are shouting at Biden, you know, how did Coke get into the White House? First of all, this is embarrassing for Biden sitting next to the Swedish president there in the Oval Office. But Biden, just no response at all. Just say, yeah, I'm really concerned. I think this is a huge breach in security and protocol. We're going to get to the bottom of it. He just says, come on, guys. And then everybody is waved very abruptly out of the room. It's weird. Did you see Hunter on the balcony when they were watching the fireworks? Have you seen that video? Look, it's just odd. Yep. It's just very odd. And I think that, you can say that. I think it's just odd. Again, we've got Politico reporter Daniel Lippman standing by. He's going to be with us next block. He's the one that broke the news that we're not going to find out, basically. Just like the Supreme Court leaker, we're never going to find out the end of the whodunit question here.